A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock myself?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. We're back here on Sundays. It's finally the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast time for the Mission Art Challenge. And welcome for the very first time on Turn 200 to the Rudskogen Motor Center. It is the National Motorsports Facility of Norway, and we're happy to be here. And happy to have Matt Williamson back along for the first time in what seems like forever. But welcome back. It's finally electric car racing time again for you here on Sunday.
Yeah, it's good to be back for sure. Sundays have been a little crazy with the holiday season, but we're past it. We're ready to rock, and we got quite a few good weeks of PMR left for me. And boy, I've missed quite a bit here in the last couple weeks.
Yes, you have. We'll get to the point standings here in just a second. I want to take a look first at this circuit. It's one of the newer free tracks that's on the channel. How about on the service? It's about a year old at this point on iRacing. It's a newer circuit itself. This layout was built in 2012. But it's got all the things that this car really doesn't like. A couple of high-speed sections with high lateral loading, a couple of low-speed sections also with high lateral loading. So this car track combo is going to be a fun one, but I mean, maybe as challenging of a layout as we've got all season. It is for a big, heavy stock car, basically, is what this is, with a big wing on it. It proves to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, you and I, we kind of had this one circled as maybe the most, if not one of the most difficult tracks on the schedule here. And you said it best, high-speed sections where they're moving laterally left to right, or I got the track map up right now. We see three different sweeping right-hand corners. This car does not like speedy sweeping corners like that. So it's going to be proven to be a tough test here today, I'm sure.
So quickly, as some times are starting to roll in here, let's take a look at the point standings as they sit currently in week number 4.
Yep, we're going to take a look at the standings here, and at the top of the standings, sitting at number 1, is Indica Scarlet. Sitting in second is Ellis Spice, who has just been very consistent this season. That's what's gotten Ellis to that second spot. Thortola only 1 point behind Ellis there in third. Then Olivia Hayward. JJ Wang, your previous champion, had a really tough beginning of the season with some hardware issues. Didn't race week 2, and I think won last week when I was gone. So a very up and down season for JJ so far, but got back on the right track last week, looking to capitalize on that a little bit more. And then you see 6th through 10th, Jamie Himmel-Smith, Connor Pearson, Andre Castro, Blake Neck, and Adrian Johansson, which quite a few of them are not here, I don't believe. So points could get shaken up a little bit this week.
And to my knowledge, Blake Neck has only made one race this season, and it was not the Thursday strength of field race, which did not go official. It was a random race on Friday, pretty early, at least for American time. I believe Blake's from Australia or New Zealand, so it was probably later in the day for him. But regardless, all your race winners on the Sunday strength of field race are in 5th, 6th, and 7th. And Jamie Himmel-Smith is back this week. JJ Wang is also back this week. So exciting stuff as qualifying might be wrapping up here in about a minute due to inactivity. It's going to wrap up a little bit later than that if somebody decides to hit the track. Yep, shortening of qualifying canceled. So so we do have just about a minute and a half, though, before we get underway with the race. Hello to Hank-Jan Steneker for hanging out in the chat with us already. And says good luck to us and is written on JJ Wang. You know, not a bad horse to back here. Right now, JJ provisionally on pole with a pretty stout time.
Yeah, I think this is. I think this will set up good for JJ as long as he's able to, keep it on the racetrack. He's had a couple of hiccups here early on in the season that we're not used to seeing from him, but he's looking to right the ship here again this week. I mean, if anybody knows this car in and out pretty well, it's going to be JJ, and I think a tougher track for most of the competitors probably bodes well for him.
A much celebrated podium last week for Ellis Spice. And Ellis right now provisionally P3. Never got confirmation on how to say Sam's last name. We were saying Widgie and Wiggy at various points during Alton Park. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk to Sam after this race with a P2 starting position. It seems like it could be in the cards here today. Or we're about to find out. As qualifying is now over, we can get to our Sunday top split strength of field. Starting lineup here for the Rudskogen Motor Center. Here for the Mission R Challenge. It is JJ Wang with the pole, the reigning series champion and reigning and defending race winner from last week at Long Beach. Starts on the pole. Sam Widgie in second. Ellis Spice and the points leader, Indica Scarlet on row number 2. Tom Wallach and AJ Colley is starting P6. Olivia Hayward might be one to watch here from back in P7. James Watson is here today. Watson starts in 8th. Georgie Trepsick and Adrian Johansson looking for some redemption after last week. Johansson starts 10th. Thortola deep in the field here. So is Jamie Himmel-Smith. They are on row number 6. Samuel April and Michael Botch, I think is how we decided we were going to say that. Apologies to Michael, but he starts 14th. Alexander Cattermole, Steve Stanhope, Cameron Malais, and Alex Demarest. The rest of the starting lineup. 18 cars here today. 18 drivers getting ready to take to Rudskogen Motor Center. Track conditions here for quickly, Mr. Matt Williamson.
Yeah, track temperature right now, 79 degrees, so should be pretty good track temperature for these drivers. Got to be careful here in the first half a lap or a lap or so, but cooler track temperature is going to help the drivers hang on to these tires for as long as possible. The heat in the tires really creates a problem.
And it is nighttime just about. It is, I believe, 10 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the sim time. Not 100% sure, though. I don't know how to read military time. That's probably not very good. It is late, though, and it is going to start to get dark here pretty quick.
Thank you, Robert's in the chat. As always, cheering on whoever wins. He's like the Jerry Lawler of Turn 200. Whoever is the best chance to win, that's who he's rooting for.
Well, we got to make it cleanly through the big slowdown here into turn number 1, and that is exactly what J.J. Wang is looking to do. He covers off the battle for second. Widgie, Spice, Scarlet, and Wallach right now, the top 5.
Side by side, still a little bit farther back in the pack.
Indica Scarlet around.
Samuel April is also off the track, but points leader right now is off the track and in last place
with a meatball, and that is going to be it for Indica. Oh, J.J. Wang went a bit wide and has opened the door now for Widgie to look underneath. This is for the lead in one of the slowest sections of the track.
Tom Wallach is around as well.
Wang in the preferred positioning here, into the right-hander, and not clear. Great drive off here for Sam.
Oh, there's contact!
A door bang there. Sam with the lead now. And how about Olivia Hayward? Started in 7th, already up and battling for a spot on the podium behind Ella Spice. Thortola as well, almost into the top 5 here as lap 1 is in the books.
And we know Hayward knows how to be aggressive. Seen her make some really, really tough but spectacular moves in the last season plus that we've gotten the chance to watch him race, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the bag of tricks come out here today as well.
I think the big deterrent to the big move would probably be Ellis himself. Those two are as thick as thieves. Ellis might try and get himself out of danger here rather quickly, as pulling up to J.J. Wang, who is faded away just a bit from Sam Widgie up front.
Yeah, Widgie looking really strong. You saw a little bit of slippage there from Spice. The rear end kicked out just a little bit, allows Hayward to reel back there in the slowdown. The field's still pretty tight throughout. Nobody's really gotten away from each other here. Biggest gap in the top 10 is from Hayward back to Watson.
And that's only about a second and a half or so. You're right, not an exceedingly large gap.
Good battle here between Watson and Thortola trying to make the move. Of course, Watson, one of the best road racers on the sim period, but doesn't really know this car much at all, so pretty tough test here for Watson, especially at one of the toughest tracks we're going to be at all year.
J.J. Wang on a bit of a rally, but he's going to bring Ella Spice and Olivia Hayward with him. Cut that gap back down to under a second now.
Tola thought about the inside move there on Watson. Wasn't quite able to capitalize. It's well documented. Pretty tough to make passes in this car. Sometimes you got to get a little bit dirty to make it happen.
Whether you've wanted to do it or not, there has been contact on a lot of passes for the lead here in our time on turn 200. J.J. Wang, purple lap, about 0.2 quicker than the race leader last time around. Thortola still right on James Watson here.
Certainly is. Pretty good battle between Trepsick and Jamie Hamel Smith here as well. Hamel Smith in the number 6. Looking to make this pass. Tries to get to the inside. That's a really tough little section there. We see Tola and Watson. They get together. Everybody seems to shrink up to each other right there in that sweeping right-hander. It's such a tough section here.
JJ Wang just a couple of car lengths behind the race leader now. Has found some separation back to Ellis Spice. So presumably the battle for third will be on here momentarily. And so might be the battle for the lead.
Yeah, JJ starting to close in here on Sam. And this is about the point where if you haven't done a good job of maintaining good temperature in the tires, it's going to start coming up to bite you here. And JJ is one of the best at knowing how to do that. So no surprise to see him start surging forward about 6 minutes here into the race.
JJ's been on both sides of it at this point. It seemed like most Sundays last season, he was either leading Dario Fertini or behind Dario Fertini or Enrico Trenti, one of the two. And being on both sides of it, both defending and conserving and pushing hard and not conserving. He knows how to get it done. But Sam Widgie right now still with the lead. JJ Wang in second, Ellis Spice still hanging on to third, Olivia Hayward right behind. Watson, Tola, and now Trepsick and Hamel Smith. Their battles have all merged. It's 4 cars all together vying for the 5th spot.
Yeah, I think Watson, just some inexperience here with the car. Starting to struggle with the tires, but really hard to pass. Tola just has not been able to find a way around, and it's allowed Trepsick and Hamel Smith to both close in now.
Even if you're not familiar with the car or the track, being a good driver with defensive instincts and having the track position, those are all things that obviously work in James Watson's favor because, like you mentioned, he is James Watson, champion on this channel. Oh, problems. Ellis Spice is spun from third. So
Gets
Olivia
back to
Hayward
it.
now onto the podium.
Gets back to it pretty quick here, but everybody right there was close together, so going to lose quite a few spots.
Down to 8th for Ellis Spice. And not the section of the track that you want to have hot and bothered tires. Off camber, downhill, big braking, it all works against you. But Ellis
Certainly.
slots right back in the line.
Certainly not really easy to find yourself back around after sliding on these tires in this car. Spice done a good job so far recovering. It's actually looking to make a pass here, but we've well documented this long line of drivers that have lined up behind Watson.
And so is JJ Wang looking for a pass. The last couple of corners, he's really started to get on the attack here. Good exit here for Sam. Not even halfway through this race, but already having to play defense here pretty hard.
And this is something that makes these cars really interesting to watch, is there's an ebb and flow with when people are able to advance and when they have to back off because the tires are so heat sensitive. Somebody can push for a lap and a half and really make up a lot of ground, but then they kind of have to back off a little bit, let those tires cool off, and then get back on the offense again. So it makes this car really interesting to watch in a race because there's so much give and take between the drivers.
Well, with one motor on each axle and seemingly infinite amount of torque and power, infinite until the batteries run out anyway, it's no wonder that these tires can get so touchy because they are just getting used up constantly.
Ellis Spice looking to the inside of Hamel Smith here.
And Hamel Smith has a slowdown, so this might help Ellis's case.
Needs to stick to the outside. Look for the crossover, but not quite the drive off he was looking for.
To mention this battle for the lead, Olivia Hayward now in third, but still about 4 seconds behind the top two here.
Yeah, Hayward's kind of in no man's land here. 4 seconds behind the top two, 3 seconds in front of Watson. But I would gladly take an easy third place here at Rudskogen.
And this isn't, this is sort of a track where you need to race the track, so the top two might lose sight of that, and you might be back on for it at some point. But like you said, just take your lumps, take a third place. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, this is certainly a track. It's not so bad to be on your own, not have to worry about anybody else.
Well, J.J. Wang trying to find a spot to pass. His best opportunity may be the last corner. But Sam has had great drive out of the last corner.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see him and Thortola, who's been trying to get around Watson, both of them kind of trying the same things, seeing if there's any adjustment to a line that can get them just a little bit of an edge on the exit of the corners, and just neither of them have been able to find anything quite yet.
8.5 minutes left to go. JJ, at least looking to the inside here. Woodgie has left some room. JJ, clear. So how about J.J. Wang back to the top spot?
Yeah, great move from J.J. Downhill into that sweeping right-hander, that's about the best place to get to the inside of somebody, but it's really tough because when you come back up the hill, it's then a left-hander. So if you don't get clear, you're going to be stuck on the outside, and all of the tire that you used up is pretty much going to be for naught, but J.J. able to clear Sam that time.
It is a treacherous place to try that move, though, because it's so easy to haul off an overdrive, and then you're both in a world of hurt. Thortola looking around, trying to find his way around Watson, maybe looking for the out-to-in swing here through the final turn. Watson has it covered off, and we are still on the train here.
Tola backed up that entry big time, trying to set up a really great exit, but didn't really get one. Was trying to set himself up to make pretty much the same move that JJ did down here into the downhill, but a bad exit, was not able to produce that.
In this train, you've got Watson, Tulla, Trepsick, Kamel Smith, and Ellis Spice, and AJ Colley as well. So that is 4th through 9th, all nose to tail here.
We're starting to get down towards the end of this thing, only 6 minutes left. I know that these drivers know that they have to be pretty patient with this car, but when you drive behind somebody for 16, 17, 18 minutes, it's hard to be patient at that point when you feel like you're faster than your cohort in front of you. Tola thought about making a move to the inside there, but knew that it would be pretty treacherous. Good drive off here, though.
This could be a great opportunity. Watson Hangs out a bit to the right to try and cover it off, but leaves the door open and then shuts it again.
Really great battle between these two. You mentioned the race instincts from Watson has allowed him to keep this position. Move to the inside, down on the right-hander, just enough to keep Thor from making that move to the inside, and then was still able to protect the inside on the exit as well. That's just good racecraft right there.
And Georgie Trepsick under fire right now from Jamie Hamel-Smith. I want to give Trepsick his flowers no matter how it turns out, because he has looked awfully sturdy here in this race this afternoon. And it's no easy feat to hold off Jamie Hamel-Smith, who has won a race here this season. And Trepsick's done a nice job so far, but still 4 minutes left to go to try and fend off and hang on to the 6th position. Still about a second lead up front for J.J. Wang. That is moved around a bit. Sometimes it's about half a second, sometimes it's a little over a second, but JJ still well in control here with what'll be just a couple of laps to go when we come back around.
Ellis Spice starting to get into the mix here. A little bit impatient with Ellis Spice sitting in 8th and Indica Scarlet out of the race on the first lap. It's prime opportunity for J.J. Wang to close that gap as far as points go. And
Thortola just drew a bead on James Watson there, but fell back into line. Go ahead.
Yeah, Thor's starting to be a little more brave with his attempts at getting around Watson. Not doing anything reckless, but driving just a little bit farther into the corner. Really getting into the throttle a little bit harder on the exits, trying to make something happen. He certainly put the pressure on Watson and trying to force a mistake out of the 5 car, but it has not happened in the first 17 and a half minutes.
2 or 3 laps to go. Opportunities fleeting for Tilla. Should mention as well, I think something would have to happen, but Olivia Hayward has been moving backwards towards James Watson just a little bit. Right now about 2.5 seconds back to Watson. Not saying it's going to happen, but just saying it's not impossible.
Yeah, Hayward at this point probably taking it pretty easy. Knows that these two are battling behind. He doesn't need to push it too terribly hard.
Up front, the gap has opened up to 2 seconds.
Trepsick a little bit wide there. Almost opened the door for Hamel-Smith.
Trepsick really squared off that corner. Hamel-Smith got slightly better drive off. Will have the draft, but no opportunity here into the first corner to take the spot.
This is starting to become a situation where if Trepsick gets stuck on the outside or inside when Hamel-Smith goes to make the pass, Ellis Spice and A.J. Coley are very close together. That Trepsick could lose 3 positions in one here if a mistake is made.
Going to be very close to getting this lap complete before the checkers are out. J.J. Wang through some lap traffic. 45 seconds to go. It's all J.J. up front, battling hard throughout the rest of the field. James Watson not too far behind Olivia Hayward here.
Oh, Trepsick wide here. Oh, and in the grass. Hamel
We are
Smith
across
and
the
Ella
line.
Spice get through.
Tom Wallich has crashed from 10th. We have one more lap to go. Three or four car lengths from Hayward back to Watson, who has still got Thortella right on him. I'm sure Olivia probably is cheering on Thor at this moment. Oh, right up to the back attenuator there. These drivers do have a lap car in front that might play a factor here. As they continue to battle, through the final turn comes JJ Wang, and JJ will go back-to-back in the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast for the Mission Arm Challenge. Big stack up here for third. Sam Widgie will finish in second. But with the accordion effect across the line, Olivia Hayward is going to hang on to third.
Wow, that ended up being a lot closer for third than I would have expected.
Yes. Despite the spin late there, Tom Wallich, I believe, still hung on for 10th. So he'll round out the top 10. Drivers 12 through 17 still out on the track, finishing up their final lap.
What a spectacular track here today. Really created a great race for us.
You know, some drivers on this channel have said some things about this track before. I remember Michael the Turk in particular said whoever made a couple of these corners need to be beaten with a bag over their head. But this track is fantastic. Some of the off tracks are a bit cruel, but you know, you'll have that. This is the National Motorsports Center of Norway, and hats off to you, Norway, for picking this track. It is fantastic. Rudskogen delivers here today, and JJ Wang delivers as well. Will take his second victory in a row. Sam, hopefully we get to talk to Sam, because I want to figure out if it's Widgie or Wiggy, what we need to be calling Sam other than the second place finisher here today. Good defensive driving there for Olivia Hayward. We'll talk to Olivia here momentarily. James Watson's so close to taking the podium, but we'll have to settle for fourth. Thortola, good points day for him. He will finish in fifth. Jamie Hamel Smith in sixth. Ella Spice in seventh. Georgie Trepsik then will finish in P8. AJ Coley and Tom Wallich then your top 10. Adrian Johansson in 11th. Michael Bodge in 12th. Sorry, Michael. Alexander Cattermole in 13th. Cameron Malise in 14th. Alex Demarest in 15th. Steve Stanhope in 16th. Indica Scarlett ended up finishing that race, so Indica will finish in 17th. The DNF for Samuel April, the 18th and final finisher here today. Time to pull in your third place finisher. It is Olivia Hayward. Things got pretty exciting there at the end of that one, but congrats on hanging on here for the podium.
Thank you. That was exhausting.
Well, you got off to a hot start, 3 spots right off the rip. I know you were probably disappointed to take the third spot from Ellis, But then you find yourself in third and seemingly slipping backwards to Watson and Thor there. That just had to be a nerve-wracking back half of the race for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a combination of two things. First of all, I'm definitely not 100% right now, you'd probably tell. But also in general, just I don't think I was the third fastest driver here. I was just very fortunate that once I got up into that fourth place, fifth on back just started brawling, and that let me build enough of a gap that once they broke away and started to close the gap, I had there was just enough of a gap to hold on to it by the end. So yeah, very fortunate, but put the pressure on for sure.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, congratulations for hanging on. Seemed to be a really tough one out there. When you're kind of stuck in the middle there, you're not really going to be able to catch Sam, but those two are closing in on you. How do you kind of determine the pace that you're going to try to produce? Are you going 100%, or are you kind of around a 90% just trying to hang on?
Early on in the race, obviously while I have cars ahead of me, I'm just sort of trying to follow in their tyre tracks, not really attack them, because we saw behind that can cost a lot of time. In that back half, it was as much as I could without risking the tyres giving up, because this track is really rough on the fronts. You have to crank the wheel massively in so many corners. So to try and not have the car just plow in the entire second half of the race, I pushed the brakes back. But the problem with that then ends up being that if you get on the brakes too hard, or if you accelerate too hard out the corner, the rear can just come around. So for that second half out, the rear end was on ice. So I was giving it as much as I could, but there were a couple of corners where I knew if I pushed too much, I'd very easily spin, and the patch was so close behind me, I probably would have felt ninth. So yeah, as much as I could, but very mindful of tyre wear in that back half for sure.
Well, we appreciate the time as always. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out or say hello to?
Yeah, of course. First of all, Ellis, for understanding the assignment early on. We're always racing it all together, so there is a little bit of teamwork there in terms of not battling until we need to. It's a shame what happened. I think Ellis was in an even further battle on the brake bias, so that might have been what led to his incident. But yeah, just everyone ended up racing with James and Thor for not running me over through that final set. So I'm sure if they wanted to, they could have went for a dive, but chose to race it clean, which I really appreciate. And yeah, you for putting this out, everyone, for showing us a good time every week.
Well, great job holding on to the podium here. Rest up, and hopefully we'll talk to you again here soon.
Absolutely. I'll see you then.
And now, second week in a row, race winners JJ Wang, first repeat winner of the season. The defending champ back on top, and what was had to work for it a bit here today. A couple of times swapping the lead there with Sam, but JJ on top at the end of it. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. That was difficult. I was kicking myself with that mistake in turns 3. Just really easy to do with this car. This track is honestly, this car's worst nightmare. A lot of sweeping corners. The weight just pushes you wide. It has the weight of a next gen, so it's just you really feel the weight here.
So then you find yourself in second here. How do you combat this car and combat the lack of track position as this race rolls along to finally get yourself back up to the top?
Yeah, honestly, Sam is really quick, so I wasn't really too sure if I could have made it back around. I knew Sam and I could probably gap P3, especially when they were battling, but it's really just kind of studying where Sam is weak. And I noticed in the fast sections, we're all struggling with the weight in the same way, but some of the fast sections he just had a little bit more trouble with the car. So that nose poke in turns 3, I'm not sure if you got it in the broadcast, but that nose poke in turns 3 was just an effort to get him offline, because it just seemed like I can carry just slightly more speed. Ironic, given that that's the corner I blew wide with my cold tires, but yeah, it seems like late in the stint I just had better rotation in the fast corners, and that was really my only way I could get past, is figuring out exactly where he was weak and then needing to poke a nose in there.
Matt, what do you got here for the race winner?
Well, congratulations. It's been a few weeks since I've gotten to talk to you, so it's good to get you back up here again. And you had a couple of, well, I should say a first tough week with the hardware issues. Weren't able to race the second week here on Sunday. Then you have back-to-back wins. It's got to feel good to kind of right the ship and get a couple of wins here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with the Olton really hurt just because of who showed up and the strength of field. So Olivia got a really big points gap on me from week 1, and it's just kind of head down. So it's a long season. We'll see where the points kind of shook out, but these kinds of rebound is going to be really important on count back towards later in the season. So yeah, I'm mostly just trying to focus on race to race.
Well, there you go. Race to race and back-to-back wins. So things headed in the right direction here for the reigning champ. Shout-outs, as always, for you.
Yes. Big thanks to James Watson for being my my teammate and my wingman for today. The boss man of TWR. He was actually battling a flu, so he really didn't want to show up. But he was going to. He looked at my data and he thought, let's see what happens. And I think that's a career best finish for him at P4 in the PMR. So big shout out to him. Of course, I got to thank you guys, for putting on a great show, for the great broadcast, and great to have you back, Matt. I'm gonna enjoy watching this one back, that's for sure. And big thanks to Jeff Mathis, insights on the car. Tell you what, when it comes to setup and trying to handle the weight transfer in iRacing, Jeff is top notch. I credit so much of my speed to him. Just kind of worked with me and just told me how to control the weight, and that's really the key to lap time in this car, is predicting when the weight will shift when. So yeah, and thanks to everybody that came out to watch, and everybody that came out to race. Super appreciate for the grid count rebound. That was I bet that would have been fun to broadcast.
We're oval racing tomorrow, aren't we, with Formula Super Series?
Yes, we are. Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well.
The Roval Master. If Drew White's the Oval Master, JJ's the Roval Master. We're at Auto Club tomorrow night, so watch for JJ there. But great job on getting back-to-back wins here today. Congratulations. Go party. We'll talk to you again hopefully tomorrow, but if not, Sunday.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks.
Alrighty. Yes, indeed. Formula Super Series tomorrow night at the Auto Club competition circuit. Then we stay at Auto Club for Tuesday night for the Venom Truck Series. A lot of Auto Club here this week. But Wednesday, it's the Daredevil Series back already with the recruitment race at Legacy Pocono. And that is all we've got until we are back here next Sunday at Mount Panorama. We're back in Mount Panorama, and I'm actually going to be here for it this time, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you missed something pretty spectacular last season when we went there, and yeah, it's going to be another good one. Really tough challenge there as well. So really looking forward to having you on the call at Mount Panorama this time.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say to wrap this one up?
Well, it's good to be back here for PMR. Been off for a couple weeks, trying to knock the rust off a little bit, and these fine folks gave me a great one to call and get back in the swing. So shout out to all the drivers here. And the two folks we had in the chat, Flinky Roberts and Henk-Jan Stedeker, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. And can't wait to be back next Sunday, but tune in tomorrow. I think that's going to be a pretty good one.
Absolutely. The super formula around, I think the most underrated roval in the service, the Auto Club competition circuit. Yes, it's littered with traffic cones. It'll be littered with bodywork tomorrow as well, but it is a fantastic switchback circuit, and it provides a lot of great opportunities for excitement. So be here for the excitement tomorrow night. Should kick off around, broadcast-wise, about 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll hope to see you then. We'll hope to see you back next week from Mount Panorama for the Mission R Challenge. But for everybody with the series, for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from Rudskogen Motor Center, where JJ Wang wins back-to-back Mission R Challenge Top Split Strength of Field Sunday broadcasts.